Hey Facebook friends, Marianne here. I wanted to reach out to y'all today because we are expecting something super exciting to happen this week right here in our backyard of Dallas, Texas. And that is that Leaders of All Nations International, an organization led by the incredible overachieving. When I say overachieving, I mean this woman has had 3 doctorates she's earned and 3 doctorates that are honorary. So 6 doctorates in all, Dr. Caroline Makaka. Dr. Caroline Makaka was selected by the United Nations to head an initiative to try and unify women who are leading incredible work around the globe. And last year, she realized, there's some pretty good men out there doing good work too. So she expanded it from Ladies of All Nations International to be Leaders of All Nations International. And last year, I was invited to the Philippines to meet some of the other people that were involved in this. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that every year she takes a globe and she throws a dart at it, and wherever that dart lands is where she has an event. And she does that to basically make it an equal opportunity as to where we're going to end up celebrating the best of the best in terms of humanitarianism and activism around the globe. Now, this year, that dart happened to land here in Texas. So I am super excited to announce that she is going to be bringing Leaders of All Nations International to the DFW area over the next few days. Now, last year, what I was blessed to also participate in, she ended up, she had this book. It's exactly what it sounds like, Expert World Leaders book, and it was basically showing all of this. Was showing basically things that work around the world. And I was very, very blessed to get to be one of the people who was spotlighted in this book, and which basically I explained a lot of my methodologies and what worked. And the same thing happened. People were doing that all over, and they were explaining all the way from how do you help lift some of the worst, grottos in the communities where people are living in filth and abject poverty, and people don't know how to improve it without it becoming gentrified to where people can't afford to live there anymore. And, they had found out a solution, and they were expanding that all over South America. And people who were facing similar things in India and Africa are saying, we want to learn from that. How can we replicate in our neck of the woods? Similarly, we saw people who had come up with ways to clean water, ways to advocate for social justice, for disenfranchised demographics, people that were, dealing with refugees. People had every kind of solution you could think of. And the whole point was to highlight them and make people more aware. Now, this year, they are doing something called Leading from the Heart. And that book, I was very blessed to be invited to write the introduction to. And it as well is going to have incredible, impactful examples of people who are doing the work that changes the world. Now, this year as well, they are going to be recognizing and presenting awards to some incredible individuals. And I wanted to take a moment to do a shout out to all of those from the DFW area that I know about who are being recognized. One of them is Peggy Larney, as many of those know in the Native American community. Peggy is our elder who, because in the Dallas community, for those that aren't from the United States, we have had a huge amount of people. Dallas has the 3rd largest Native American urban population in the country. And Peggy Larney has been an elder that has unified people because, there's like 430 some Native American languages spoken in Dallas alone. That's not county, that's city. And that's not even counting Native American languages from Latin countries. So that's not Azteca, Zapoteca, or Maya or anything like that. That's literally Native American languages from the United States that are spoken in our city. So we have a huge Native American population. And if you go to any powwows, you'll see every kind of culture, tradition of Native American from across the United States there. And all of them will absolutely honor Peggy Larney because she is one of the loudest voices, one of the calmest voices, one of the strongest voices, and a staunch female rights advocate as well. So it makes all kinds of sense. Peggy Larney, I honor you. I'm so excited you are going to be recognized by Leaders of All Nations International. You definitely deserve it. Another person who is going to be recognized is Judah. Judah is an incredible guy who has what's called Suits for Judah. Suits for Judah came out from when after he had served our country, put his life on the line and became a veteran. He had PTSD, ended up on the streets due to that PTSD, like way too many veterans do. And thought nothing was going to happen. He just thought, oh, he was stuck there. But someone along the way gave him a suit, and he ended up putting the suit on, and something transformed in his mind. When he saw himself in a suit, he gained confidence. He stood up taller. He went in and he got the interviews. He was able to focus, and it transformed his entire self-respect. And so now he has Suits for Judah, in which he provides suits and job training, get people prepared to go in and apply for a job, to represent themselves. And he has turned around so many lives of veterans who would otherwise be living on the street. He has expanded now, and he provides coats during the winter as well. So he is truly in the process of transforming and uplifting lives in the DFW area, and is a hero many times over, not just as a veteran, but saving veterans' lives after serving our country. I would guess best way to put it is he has never stopped serving our country. He is a true local hero. So I'm super excited that Judah of Suits for Judah is going to be one of the people that is recognized by leaders of all nations international. Another person that is going to be recognized is Reverend Neil Thomas. Reverend Neil Thomas is the leader of the largest LGBT church in the country, the Cathedral of Hope, and he has done incredible advocacy for those children who basically, they come out, maybe they're 14, 15, and I don't know how this happens, how people can just close their hearts off, but some parents will just go, oh, you're gay? You're no longer my child, and they kick them out. And of course, these children who thought they were beloved by their parents, suddenly that love is cut off, and they're told they're no longer my child, you're living on the street. They end up being suicidal many, many times. They come into the city and they're looking for help. And one of the top voices to advocate for them and help them find a way to move forward in their lives is Reverend Neil Thomas. So he's the person that Baylor Hospital calls. If they have one of these children show up and say help, they call him, and he tries to help facilitate. And he's going to be building a place with the Cathedral of Hope that is going to be helping further along and helping these children be able to further their lives and find a way to move them forward. He also advocates for the elders, especially the LGBT elders, who often find themselves without any support in their later lives. Not to mention, he also does incredible service for the homeless. I think he feeds about 6,000 people a week, through his church. Incredible work. And one of the top, I guess you could say, hubs for the North Texas Food Bank. So just a little blip of what this local hero does. So Reverend Neil Thomas, I am super excited you're being honored. Another person that is doing great work for the homeless is actually two people, Wesley Stone and Quynh Stone. They have the Source of Hope. Now what they do is so beautiful, because usually when you have so many people coming in and out and they're needing to get food, there's no way to really spend time with people, to really see them. And yet when people are struggling, that's when they need to be seen and received more than ever. Now, Wesley Stone and Quynh do a lot more than feeding. When they cook food in a home cook setting with their volunteers, they serve them family style, sit down with them, know the names, know their personal stories, and Quynh will actually take people grocery shopping, teach people, if you have a family of 6, how do you feed them healthy on a $15 budget? She teaches that. Both Wesley and Quynh also have the Stone Wellness Center, which is a beauty and health spa. But what they do in that center is they're also training people who come to them who are living on the street, have no potential, way to change their lives. If they're willing to commit and learn, they will teach them how do you do the services in these wellness centers and in these beauty parlors. Once they go through all the training and they get accredited by the state that they have permission to do this service, they work with them in the Stone Wellness Center, earning a paycheck. And once they go from there, many times they've been able to go elsewhere as well and continue their job. So they're not just feeding people, they're getting people off the street. So Wesley Stone and Quynh Stone, they are true heroes. And Quynh is one of those amazing people who was an immigrant who made it over the ocean from Vietnam to the United States twice, got sent back once, went to Malaysia, was in a holding camp there, and then made it a second time and has lived this unbelievable life of overcoming one challenge after another, and never, once she's made her money, she has continued to keep giving back, never forgetting for 1 minute where she came from and what it's like to be hungry, and wants to make that kind of difference to people. So what an incredible couple. Another couple that I want to tell you all about that will be recognized is Marcus and Ashleigh. They have commissary is very necessary. Now, many of you may not know that over the last couple of years, the STEM programs, now that's science and, biology, which of course is biology, there's engineering, all those kinds of things. They were basically cut out of a lot of the public school systems locally. So the Dallas Community College went to Marcus and said, can you help us? Marcus then started learning all about coding, learning about robotics, and he combined robotics with aquaponics, with biology, with environmentalism, and he created a program that is educating the underserved communities in Dallas, Texas, and Fort Worth, as well as in Houston, and he's actually done some outreach up in Boston, in which he has brought in these kind of educational programs that provide and are often the only source for mathematics and science and biology and certainly coding and robotics. And what he has done is just absolutely enthralling. There is a reason why he was recognized by the Texas Sierra Club he got a statewide award. Now keep in mind, for those that are from Texas, we are larger than France. So that gives you an indication of how incredible Marcus's work is. He was recognized for doing incredible work on social advocacy and environmentalism, and as being one of the top people in the state doing that kind of work. So looking at everything that he did, he could have easily taken off and created a career of his own without thinking about anybody else. But instead, he focused on how he could make an impact and raise his entire community up. Another person that I'd like to mention is Reverend Peter Johnson, who was sent here by MLK and his team, Andrew and Walter Young, to basically oversee the fight against segregation in the state of Texas. He has been an incredible advocate. He worked with people like Ross Perot. He worked with people like my father. He's worked with people like Stanley Marcus to make those kind of changes in our backyard. So he is definitely deserving of this. Another person is Doc, the DOC. Many of you know him from his rap days, but as he would tell you, back then he was doing things that glamorized violence and guns in the industry, and he wanted to focus on healing, hence why he calls himself Doc now. And while he discovered people like Snoop Dogg and whatnot, he has actually created a documentary recently advocating against gun violence, which is what his entire passion is for now. So he will be recognized as well. So you have an idea of some of the amazing individuals that we will be recognizing, including Jacque Wynne. She was the person that began Cattle Barons Ball and the Sweetheart Ball. One has raised $50 million for fight cancer. The others raised $30 million to try and help with heart health. She has done incredible work that has truly saved lives. So this is a complete variety of people, every race, sexual orientation, economic background, religion and whatnot. But what they all have done is make a difference in your life and mine. And that is why Dr. Caroline Makaka, through Leaders of All Nations International, wants the world to know about them. So if you're one of these people, I honor you and am super excited to get to celebrate you coming this weekend. And for the rest of you, please do look up and follow what Dr. Caroline Makaka is doing, because she is linking the intellectual with things like the books to people that are doing pragmatic work around the world. She is really building bridges because, as she likes to say, all means all. And as someone like myself who has the Mimnesine Institute and UTF Holdings, which is focused on sustainable development goals, I cannot tell you enough how unique it is to find someone that likes to highlight the work of others and link them together and build bridges, and does the kind of work necessary to empower those of us who are doing this kind of work out in the communities, to link up together and to further empower our passions to try and make that kind of difference. So I'm super excited that Dallas, Texas is going to be jacked in, and I look forward to seeing all of you and celebrating your accomplishments.